This is the most important message I've ever delivered. In my decades of being a speaker and trainer, teaching and guiding, nothing has been more urgent in this moment because fear is palpable. It's everywhere. Are you feeling it? I'm not. And this is what I'm sharing with you today because there is something crucial that you need to know. The safety and peace you're searching for are not out there. They have never been out there. Safety and peace have always been with you. Notice I said with you and not within you. Because with you means that you are not this. You keep looking inside of here. People keep guiding you to look inside of this meat suit. Remember that you lay this thing down, okay? It's not within this. You are not this. You are energy. I've been talking about energy. I'm hitting it at a different perspective because one of these things are really going to sink in. So, what you have been seeking is your sovereignty. Your sovereignty is not within this meat suit. Your sovereignty is within the energy that you carry. And until you start to understand the energy and its vibrations and the frequencies that you are tapping into, because everything is seeking its own level of frequency, you are tapping in life at a particular frequency, and that is why you are getting what you're getting. And when you're operating in fear, then other people are sucking your energy, and you are now projecting onto life. And that's your reality. You're sovereign. Let's get into it.
Hi, my name is Zara Green. I'm glad you're here. Welcome.
Before we go deeper, let me clarify something. The sovereignty I'm talking about is not about government, land, or national identity. Those are indeed important conversations, and they are increasing as more knowledge is being spread in the US. And like the Maori people in Australia using haka to stand against oppression, uh, it's not that. It's important, but it's not that. In fact, the more you start to identify your own individual sovereignty, the more we as a collective will be able to really stand and make things happen. So, the sovereignty I'm speaking about is a personal, energetic, and divine sovereignty. It's about reclaiming your authority over your own life beyond any external systems or forces. Can you imagine the collective power in our physical world? Oh, I can. Over the past few years, after leaving everything and everybody, hell, I left the US and haven't looked back. I shut down my entire world because nothing was making sense to me. Yet there was a burning in my soul. I had a gravitational pull to isolation. Like, I just knew I'd find what I needed in the silence. I instinctively knew that this journey away, and I've had many before, but this one I knew was beyond just what anything or anybody in this world could ever give me. So I'm excited to share what I've created for you to shorten your learning curve. Because listen, it is imperative that you get a perspective that's going to work for you on our world today with rising costs, political division, the seeming instability. I'm telling you, regardless of race, class, politics, fear connects us all. There's fear all over the world. It's because we're all living the same way. We're all looking at the matrix and saying, look what this matrix is doing to me. But you have to understand how who you are as a sovereign being collectively, you have submitted to and allowing the forces, the powers that be, when you are the power, to project onto you. You have surrendered yourself to something you think is more powerful than you. There is nothing more powerful. This matrix is created by the collective. So we've got to shift your perspective. We've got to shift your identity. We've got to move you back into your rightful place because we have been conditioned by this world to believe that we have to just submit and succumb to the powers when you, my love, are all powerful. All right, so this is going to be some layers, okay? So let's talk about sovereignty and why it matters now more than ever. The world is unsettled, politically, socially, economically. Go ahead, add to this list. Does it feel like everything is hanging by a thread? You've been taught to look outside of yourself for stability, security, and answers. But I have found this to be true. Relying on a system, a leader, or anyone else to give you peace is a fragile foundation. And the older you are, the more experiences you have, the more that just resonated with you. So here's the truth, okay? No election, no government, no external force, none, can provide the kind of deep security you're seeking. The world out there, outside of you, is a mirror reflecting how much you've forgotten that you are sovereign. Did you hear me? You've forgotten it. You came here knowing you were. You've been hearing your whole life. What is your birthright? Keep listening because my intention is to break this down and to go layer for layer in this video and then in the guide that I've provided for you to continue to refer back to it so you understand this in a way that you never have. All right. So if the world out there, what you are seeing using your five physical senses in order to tell you what is going on out there, then that means it's an illusion. So what is the truth? This fear you're feeling, it's not random, it's intentional. In order to understand the rest of this, you have to be willing to get out of the silos you've been operating from and get a broader perspective of your entire world. Because what you are experiencing right now was unfolding long before you arrived on this planet. We just happen to be in an evolutionary process that you have to make the shift. Systems have been designed to siphon your energy, to keep you distracted, divided, and disconnected from your power. Think about it. If your stability hinges on an employer, a government, or a cultural system, then your energy is not your own. And that's exactly how you're feeling, like you have little or no control over your life. If this is all a game, don't you think you need to learn the rules in order to effectively play? Listen, we're all in different places, but maybe you feel stuck in a job that drains you, or maybe you're in a relationship out of fear of being alone, or because you've invested so much in it that now you're like, okay, what now? Yeah, God knows I know about that. Looking around and going, I have surrendered so much of myself. How in the hell did this even happen? You're on a slippery slope and you don't even know you're gliding backwards. And I'm telling you, the moment you recognize it is the moment that you can change it. You are not behind. It is not too late. We are in an evolutionary process. You had no idea how to plan for this. You only knew to plan for what your parents and your parents' parents learned in order to try and guide you to doing something different. And our world has shifted. Nothing you learned is going to work in this new world. All right? Listen, whatever fear you're experiencing, sovereignty ends that cycle. So it's not about rejecting the world as it is, it's about rising above it. So nothing outside of you can control you, so that you can identify the peace that is you. I stopped looking for answers outside of me when I shifted my identity, because that's all you got to do. There are only two identities, human consciousness and divine consciousness. You have absolutely forgotten your divinity. And it is my absolute intention to continue to teach you how to snip away at that human consciousness. And as you're doing that, you naturally rise in your divine consciousness, living out your own sovereignty. Let's talk about social constructs, the ideas of what's normal, safe, or necessary, or neither natural nor necessary for your sovereignty. These constructs were built to control, not to liberate. They thrive on your fear, your compliance, and your belief in their authority. But what if you step back and saw them for what they really are? What if you reclaimed your own energy you've unknowingly given away to the systems? When you begin to shift into broader perspective, you'll see how these constructs not only corrode your sovereignty, but also keep you from seeing the big picture. They are distractions keeping you in survival mode and away from your true power, keeping you away from your ability to even see the game in order to develop the necessary, effective tools to play it. I hope you're starting to see that self esteem issues is because many people tie their self worth to jobs or how much money they have or what others are thinking about them. These are the traps designed to keep you stuck and small. Let's talk about the news cycles. Think about how often you're bombarded with headlines designed to terrify you. It's not information, it's manipulation. And until you start to understand that you are surrendering your very being to the things that they need you to be, then you are just giving away your power. Now, here's why you don't recognize that this is what's happening. Because drip by drip, they have conditioned everybody to believe and trust in their systems. And every time you surrender a piece of yourself to their systems, then you are giving over your authority, your sovereignty. And I am here to help you get it back. Because hear me when I tell you, the day I realized I was handing over my energy to systems that never had my best interest at heart, everything changed. What have you been holding on to that's actually holding you back? What systems are you operating in that are hindering your growth? What have you bought into? Because everything they've conditioned you in that is holding you back, you've actually surrendered. And I know you don't want to hear that. But baby, the moment you recognize it and the moment you decide that you are going to own your own authority again, to operate in your own personal authenticity, because I'm telling you, you've been operating based on the avatar you built, not your authenticity. So many people around here talking about being authentic, and I was one. I taught personal development over 30 years. Talking about living in authenticity. Well, as long as what you learned was in human consciousness, I'm telling you, it was building the avatar. It is not until you move, shift those identities and start operating in your divine consciousness, which is everything within your sovereignty, then it's all human consciousness. Making the shift is all on you. And once you come to understand it, hopefully you'll get pissed off in the ways that I did, because I spent a lot of time on that rooftop just mad, pissed the F off that I had surrendered so much of myself to systems. Then I gave myself grace because I came to understand that all of this stuff was intentional and they had bamboozled the F out of our parents and our parents' parents. And on so much of his story is just a lie. And we're learning a lot of that too. Listen, we don't have time to be in regrets and all that stuff. Get mad quick, deal with that so we can get on with life. All right? Let's get on with it. There's a way out, beautiful. Sovereignty is not a lofty idea, it's your birthright. Now, I've heard this my entire life. And quite frankly, I was plenty pissed on a plenty occasions when, if this is my birthright, then why am I experiencing all this effing foolery? It's simple. It is the acceptance that you are more than your body, more than your thoughts, more than your circumstances. Sovereignty is a realization that everything you need has always been with you. With you, not in you. Because that's the first thinking you're going to have to change. All right? You are not this body, y'all. You're not. It's just a meat suit. It's what you use to experience your sovereignty. You are energy. There are layers to this thing, y'all. But once you start to properly identify as energy, you'll be able to embody your sovereignty. It's stepping into the truth of who you really are, reclaiming the energy, the power, the freedom that were always yours. All right? So, how much of your energy have you just been giving away to things that don't serve you? How much longer will you allow fear to dictate your choices? Those are the questions. I've been where you are, stuck, confused, afraid, but sovereignty showed me the way out, and it'll show you too. This isn't about learning something new, okay? It's about remembering who you've always been. Because I promise you, when you shift identities and you start to operate it in your divinity and start just snipping away at human consciousness, all the agreements you made when you didn't know any better, then I promise you, you will rise in your sovereignty because everything you think you have to strive to get and become, you already are. That is how this matrix has flipped things upside down and have you thinking you have to earn your way to everything when you already are. So I'll say it again. No matter where you look, true safety will never be found out there. It's not in a government, not in a paycheck, not in a relationship. It's not in a relationship. It's not in a relationship. No relationship. And no, it doesn't matter who they are or what role or title they hold. All the things you've been trained, programmed, conditioned to believe about relationships, especially in the United States, has been to the benefit of the social constructs. When you begin to operate in your sovereignty, attachments fall away. You get a brand new perspective on everything. And baby, let me tell you, that is a much lighter way to live, especially if you're in my age group, with all the bullshit about how we're supposed to live as women and black women and from the South and how we're supposed to yield to. That has never made any sense to me. That I need to yield to any other being for anything. When you operate in your sovereignty, being cooperative is just a natural state. And then you recognize domination or all the bullshit that tries to condition you that you are lesser than and need to somehow submit to, and you ain't going for that shit. This ain't about getting mad at life, it's about owning who you truly are. Sovereign one. True safety has always and will always be in one place within your sovereignty. Now, for what I've prepared for you. If you are already on my list, then your sovereignty guide is already in your inbox. If not, look in the description box below in order to see how you can get yours immediately. And if you have not subscribed to this channel and this stuff is resonating with you, I invite you to go ahead and do so because we will continue this journey, embracing your sovereignty and freeing yourself from fear. That's what we're doing on this channel. Now, let me remind you, while you were born into a fearful system, you were not born to fear. You were born to rise. And that, my love, starts today. Your sovereignty guide will reinforce the things that are covered here in this video and many more things. Well, that's all I have for you today. It is your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn. Oh, it can and shall get better. From somewhere out here in South America, ciao for now.